Speech Pathology program. We're very excited to see you, all your happy and smiling faces. Just so you know, it's not mandatory at the moment to wear masks in this part of Flinders Medical Centre, but you're very welcome to, of course. My name is Joanne Murray. I am the course coordinator for the Bachelor of Speech Pathology program here at Flinders. We have here Lauren Sullivan, who's the course coordinator for the Masters of Speech Pathology program, and Jane Taylor-Mattison, who is our student engagement coordinator. We're just getting our slides up on the screen for you. We've got a little bit of talking, a little bit of getting to know you this morning, little bit of kind of orientation to life at Flinders, life as a student, life on Flow, which is our electronic learning system, and we'll introduce you to the staff. Then we'll have some lunch together, and then in the afternoon we're going to split up into, if you're in the Bachelor program, you'll stay with me here in this lecture theatre. If you're in the Masters program, you'll go with Lauren over to Lecture Theatre 1, next door. And we'll go through just a few more of the specifics of each of the programs and what to expect, perhaps in your first week and for your first year. So we're really, really happy to see you. As I said, I would like to just acknowledge the traditional lands on which we're meeting today as the Kaurna land, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and also recognise their ongoing connection with country, the waters of the Adelaide Plains, and also their language, their culture, their storytelling. And as you begin your study in speech pathology, you'll find that there are a lot of languages in the world, and certainly in our nation, that we would like to acknowledge and learn a whole lot about. So you've joined a profession where speech, language, communication and swallowing is going to be your prime focus for the next few years, and then in the profession going forward. What else have we got there, Jane? Yeah, we also want to acknowledge, this is really good timing. I'll hand to Lauren.
Yeah, so today is actually International Mother Language Day. So I thought it was really important to acknowledge that as well. We have a lot of people who are coming into our programs who don't have English as their first language, and we love that. We think it's an amazing skill to have more than one language, and we live in a very multicultural society, and those skills are essential in terms of being a speech pathologist. For those that have them, it's fantastic. For those like me that don't, bad luck. It's too late for me now. But anyway, so just wanting to say Happy Mother Language Day, and I just wondered if we had anybody, and I know I've put in Sri Lankan here, but that's my ignorance. Even though I've been to Sri Lanka, I can't remember the language that they speak in Sri Lankan. Does anyone know? Oh, you're from Sri Lanka? So what's the language what's your? Sinhala. Oh, Sinhalese. Sinhalese. So how do we say hello in Sri Lankan or Sinhalese? Ayaborwan. There we go, Ayaborwan. What about in Japanese? Have we got anyone from Japan? Yes, I thought we had somebody. How do we say hello in Japanese? Konnichiwa. Yep. Is that the more formal way of saying hello, or is there a more relaxed way, like in Australia? Normal. Yeah, bit of both. Yeah, it's konnichiwa. So konnichiwa. And I know this is weird, but have we got Canadians in the room? Yeah. We've got I thought we would have a Canadian. Here in Australia, we hi, hiya, hey, whatever. Is there anything? What was that?
G'day.
G'day. I don't know. How many of us actually say g'day? Hands up. Yeah, no. Is there anything that's particularly Canadian? And I know in Quebec, like French Canada, it's French. But is there something that Canadians say to say hello specifically, or are you just hi people?
Just hello.
Hello. Yep. That's okay. I was just checking. All right. And do we have anyone from China who's here yet.
Or Hong Kong.
Or Hong Kong? Yeah.
Speaks Mandarin.
Or speaks Mandarin.
Yeah.
Ni hao?
Ni hao.
Okay, so you speak Mandarin? Okay, that's handy.
Yeah, really good to know.
Multiple languages, there we go. Have you got other languages as well? Yeah, how many?
6. Woohoo!
So
Anyone
this is
beat
what
6
happens
languages?
in this program. We get really cool stuff happening. Okay.
We got some overachievers here.
Yeah, that's right.
I struggle with one sometimes.
I was going to say, and we, well, I don't know, Joe's got 2.
Guten Tag.
Yeah. I've got 1 and a bit of German. Have you got any others?
I'm 1 and then trying with pleasantries wherever I go.
Yep.
Please and thank yous.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good.
Bula, I know.
Yeah, that's right.
Hola.
Okay, all right, so hello everybody and welcome.
Yeah. So we thought we might just introduce ourselves first, and then we're hoping to hear a little bit about you guys. So if we just go through some of these slides, Jane. Another Jane,
Yeah.
Jane Bickford, is our academic lead for the programs, both the Masters and the Bachelor. And you'll be meeting Jane a little bit later this morning, who will talk to you more about her role. But basically, she is almost like the head of our department and oversees the quality and the curriculum in our courses. All university courses that graduate speech pathologists have to be accredited by Speech Pathology Australia. You will have an opportunity to become a student member of Speech Pathology Australia if you wish. And Lauren and I are certainly active members of Speech Pathology Australia. And that's really important. So Jane's role is really to make sure that our courses are of the quality that you can graduate and be eligible for practicing membership of Speech Pathology Australia, which means you're employable. So you absolutely have picked the right university to come to, because Flinders University speech pathology programs have just been accredited for the for the next 5 years. So you are assured of being able to graduate from an accredited university program. So yay you and yay us.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of work.
Yes, it has.
But that's a really important mandate for all speech pathology programs across Australia. That coming from an accredited university means that you will have the right and the opportunity to work anywhere within Australia and in countries where we have reciprocal relations, like the UK, like Singapore, like New Zealand, and just to name a few. All right, so that's a really exciting thing for you to be qualifying from Flinders University. So that's largely Jane's role, and she'll talk to you more about that this afternoon.
She will also teach you.
This morning.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is me. I'm the Bachelor of Speech Pathology and the Honours Program Course Coordinator. My role, I suppose, is making sure that the Bachelor program runs smoothly, that everybody is enrolled in their topics properly, that you're making good progress through your topics and the year levels. And you might need to come and talk to me if at any stage you're out of sync with your study, and we can develop a study plan that sees you continue your progression in the right way. I'm a speech pathologist by background. My working career started, I actually qualified from here when it was Flinders Uni was down at Sturt campus. I don't know whether many of you know that Flinders Uni has a big footprint where we're kind of all over the place. We have many campi, the plural of campuses. One of them being just down at Sturt. And then you'll find here at FMC is where we'll do a lot of our teaching with you guys, but also up in health sciences up at the main campus. So hopefully this afternoon you'll get a bit of a chance to do a bit of a tour around as well. But getting back to my background, I did graduate from Flinders University quite a few years ago now, and my first job was out in the Department for Education, out in the country in Port Augusta. So if those of you who are local South Australians will probably know Port Augusta's about 3 hours north from Adelaide. Had the time of my life, travelled everywhere, all of the schools, met 100 teachers who were all just graduating out there as 21-year-olds and had a ball. Eventually decided that I'd like to come back into adult practice, so moved back to the city and started work at Hampstead Rehabilitation Centre. And when you get to do some classes with me, which is largely the bachelor's in third year, the master's a little bit in first and second year, you'll know that I teach in the area of rehabilitation of acquired language disorders, or aphasia, and that is sort of the bread and butter of what I did at Hampstead Rehabilitation Centre. So I was there for many years. I moved over to an acute hospital in Newcastle, John Hunter Hospital, if anyone knows about that. I came back and worked at the repat here, so mostly my practice has been with adults since my days in the education department. I've gone on to do a PhD, and I'm one of the balanced academics here at Flinders University, which means I'm a teacher and I'm also a researcher. So there's an opportunity as you go through your course, particularly for the bachelor students, but also for the masters, to be doing and touching on a little bit of research throughout your course if you'd like. In the third year of the honours bachelor program, you'll be invited to join the honours program if your GPA is adequate. And then you might dabble in a bit of research with someone like me or someone like Jane or some of the other staff that you'll meet today. So that's kind of my background. I love my profession. I've moved, as you've seen, from different settings, different populations across the lifespan, and now into academia, and absolutely love it. We'll be here for many more years to come. I hope this is the beginning of your really, really happy career in speech pathology, and know that you can work really anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the state, with kids, with adults, with students, with, there's so much that you're going to be able to do with this fabulous degree. So I'm going to hand over to Lauren for her story.
That's me with shorter hair. So I'm sorry for the master's students who've already met me online because I'm going to bore you with my story again. But so I am the coordinator of the master's program and have a very similar role to Jo, in slightly smaller because there's less of us, in making sure that the master's program runs well. And we have a beautiful range of international students who come into our master's program, and we have smaller numbers in the bachelor program, so I do a lot of work in the international student space as well. And yeah, so I just am here to make sure that your 2 years with us is amazing. It is an amazing program. I'm very proud of the program. We are all very proud of the program, the master's program and the bachelor program and the honours program. Yeah, so that I can help you through what's going to be for the masters a very busy couple of years. My background, like Jo, I studied here at Flinders and graduated from Flinders. I did my honours way back in the day. And then I actually ended up being the first new grad position here at the hospital at Flinders Medical Centre, where they decided to put a new grad position in place where I got the chance to actually work with both lots of populations. So I worked with the elderly, I was on the aged care ward, and I also worked with the babies in neonates, and so I was kind of doing it across the lifespan, which was an amazing opportunity for me. And then I went off and had babies of my own and came back and fairly quickly and decided that paediatrics, so working with children, was my area, and I've done that ever since. So I've worked in community health, so which is the GP pluses now, where they call them GP plus. I worked there for a number of years and seeing people out in the community. I had my own private practice for about 10 years, so I worked out in the private world. And I specialised also, I came back into the hospital and worked for the Children's Assessment Team, which is a multidisciplinary team who do assessments of children with complex needs. So that was my area of specialty, and I did that for quite some time. And then when the master's program was being put together, they asked me to be involved in giving them some advice around different bits and pieces around practice, and so I got involved way back then, and I became one of the PBL tutors as well, and did some guest lecturing. But then in 2017, I think, I decided that I needed a change of scenery, and I came over a little more permanently, and now I am here, and that's me. I think that's all. Yep.
Great, thanks, Lauren. Oh, look, it's me. I wasn't sure the order that we went in. So I'm Jane. As it says up here, I'm the Student Engagement Coordinator, which I'll talk a bit more today about, and you'll see me popping up all sorts of places and trying to get involved and share information and experiences with you. But sort of the crux of the Student Engagement Coordinator is about providing that assistance in the good times and the hard times to individual students to access different services, to know what's out there, to be that connection between the different services, or help you sort of work things together in a more uniform way when you're trying to sort through something out, working with the staff as well. So there's a range of things. So the more interesting thing about me is that I'm not a speech pathologist. There's a few of us here that aren't.
And we still love them.
We come from different backgrounds. My background is that I've got a Bachelor of Health Sciences from a competing university. And I studied public health and health promotion. And I worked in that field for a good 10, 11 years. I got my Masters of Health Promotion. I worked with government agencies, government organisations like SA Health was primary, one across a few different ones there, as well as the non-government ones. And I actually got to work with some speech pathologists in the projects that I was working around, low literacy stuff, introducing solids, communication, developing language, and sort of got to sort of start to hear more about the field that way. And then they got me into I was looking for a change in career. I came in to mark an assignment and I never left. I loved it so much, and found it such a good place to work, such good people to work with, such good students to have that are so engaged and interested, and it's just really fulfilling to hear about students' experiences as well whilst they're studying, when they're coming back, when I run into them on the street. It's just really great to I've surrounded myself in this awesome area, and it's really great to be part of it.
We love having her.
And Jane coordinates a number of the topics in the Masters program.
I didn't even talk about that. I got so enthused about
speech
pathologists. Yes. So I I'm primarily in the Masters program at the moment. So I coordinate one of our PBL topics, so our problem-based learning topics there. I also take several of our research topics about introducing you to research, and then taking that research and putting it back into your practice as well. And then you may see me pop up in different parts of the uni as I work with the health sciences team as well.
I forgot to tell you what I teach. I teach paediatrics, so you'll have me straight away. So Masters in first year, Bachelors in second year, but you also, the Bachelors, have me for psychology, because my previous degree was psychology, and so I do the psychology and the child development in first year. So you're all stuck with me for a bit.
And finally, we have Claire. So this is really your leadership team in the speech pathology teaching program. Claire is our placement education coordinator. So Claire's not coming specifically today to talk to you, although the Masters do start your placements really early on, straight up in your first semester. The Batchies will start placements in your third year, although you will go out to schools in your second year, which is kind of a mini placement, I suppose. And Claire coordinates all things placement education. So you'll meet her as we do the meet and greet with staff a bit later this morning. So really that's your leadership team. So Jane Bickford at the helm, I suppose, the three of us and Claire help to guide, I suppose, the speech pathology programs. Obviously we work as a whole team, everyone's involved, and you'll meet more of us later this morning. So before we get on to a little bit of the kind of the nitty-gritty, I suppose, of orientation, we thought it might be a nice opportunity to get to know you.
Which is the real essential.
Yes, get your essentials sorted. Who
Yeah.
are you? Who are you? Who's coming to us?
Yeah.
So go ahead, Jane.
Yeah, thanks, Jane.
Over to Jane.
So we're going to start things off a bit light and a bit fun. We're going to have some just sort of more getting to know you and getting to know the people around you and help us to try and get to know you as well. We've got a few activities that will get you to do. This first lot, we're just going to sort of do a bit of a show of hands rather than a stand up because this is a bit tilted. So if we can have a show of hands. Does anybody know anybody in the course already? In their third year? Yeah? Third year masters, anything? Someone coming in today? So that's cool.
Can I ask how you know each other? Yeah.
We met at Safe Environments.
These are my master's students
Yeah.
who've already been out getting their compliances sorted.
Yay! Organised.
And
Oh,
what's
brilliant.
great about these two?
Yeah.
They're both called Lauren.
Hey, we're not going to forget that name.
I'm not no preferences.
And then in the spirit of friendship and sharing, being the very first people that were willing to give us a go, I get to show my game show
Aerobic
host.
skills.
There you go, you guys can share.
And who else knows each other? Anyone know each other from school?
Ah, there's hands there.
Yeah, great. So you ended up in the same program together.
Was it school?
We used to dance together.
Oh,
Dance. Okay.
excellent. Great. What's our next one, Jane?
Alrighty.
So there's plenty of opportunity.
Yeah.
Lots of people don't know other people.
Yeah.
Plenty of
Yes.
opportunity to get to know today.
Yeah, different ways.
Make sure
that-
you find a friend today.
Yeah, different ways that we connect to each other. Do we have any parents here?
Yeah.
Yeah, your boys.
Yes. Sorry, I do.
They're grown-up boys.
There they are. Okay. Yeah.
So we've got a few parents.
Parents. Does anyone want to share who they've got in terms of little people? Yes.
I've got 3, so I've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
And everybody is going, oh my God. And she's coming to university to study.
And I can tell you there's someone else in this room who's got 3 children who are of similar ages. So Lauren,
Yeah.
what was your name? Elle. Elle. Lauren. Elle.
Any other parents? Yeah? How many?
Kids.
2?
One's 6 and one's 4.
Oh my goodness, yes. And up the back?
I've got one, a 2.5-year-old.
Oh my goodness. So when you guys feel really stressed with your assignments, think of those parents in the audience and kind of what they're going through as well as doing their assignments. Great, thank you.
Alright. Does anybody come from a rural area?
Few.
Yeah.
Yeah? Call out where from?
Yeah.
Gore, Victor Harbour.
Yes, yeah.
Mildura, Victoria.
Brilliant.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yes, in the front.
Victor Harbour.
Victor Harbour, yeah. And guy there?
Murray Bridge.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
And
Whyalla.
oh,
Whyalla,
Whyalla.
brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a son in Mildura.
Oh, and up the back?
Kangaroo Island.
Cool.
Kangaroo
beautiful.
Island. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So some able to commute in, some maybe making bigger changes, finding places to stay whilst you're here.
Has everyone managed to find
Yes.
accommodation?
Come talk to me if
Yeah.
you don't or you have any problems.
Yeah, yeah. She won't let you live with her, but
No, I know. I'm about to start renovating. They don't want to live
no,
with me.
no, she's a good help though with that.
Yeah, yeah. I'll talk more about the connections that I can sort of help with along the way as well. Anyone that's lived overseas?
Or if you're
Or
from overseas, yeah, go and do it.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Cool.
can we have a bit of
Yeah,
a
love
shout
to
out of
know.
where? Malaysia?
Malaysia?
I'm from the UK.
UK,
Brilliant, yeah.
I'm from Australia.
Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka, and
America?
From Singapore.
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 Beautiful.
I'm from Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe?
Oh wow, great.
Cool.
I'm from Hong Kong.
Hong-
I lived in Singapore and Korea.
Wow.
Korea,
okay.
Singapore as well, yeah.
So multi-nations.
Up there in the middle.
So, Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
And
Oh, goodness, far
Japan.
Japan.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
And Somalia.
Somalia.
And
India.
See, how amazing is that?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
So all these beautiful perspectives we're going to
Yeah.
bring into this course.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
very
Yeah.
exciting.
Very exciting.
Yes. Now, I am expecting our master's students to raise their hands, but has anybody previously studied at uni before?
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So-
That's more than I thought.
Are you all master's students with your hands up? Yeah.
Any-
good turnout.
Any batchies? Any bachelors? So there's a couple.
Who've had another degree? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or part.
Or studied at uni? Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you done before, Batchy people?
I have a bachelor in psychological science.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That'll be really
that'll set
helpful.
you
That'll
up
be
well.
handy.
Yeah.
And over here?
I have a bachelor in speech therapy.
Oh,
yes.
in another country.
Yeah, in Sri Lanka.
In Sri Lanka.
Wow. Okay. And so that qualification isn't recognised here? Is not one of those reciprocal recognition? Yeah. Yeah.
We have
okay.
we
Hence
do have
doing
people
it again.
who often come from India, and
Yeah.
I think we've had Sri Lanka before, where they'll come and do our master's program as so that's fantastic.
And qualified to
Welcome.
work then in other countries.
Yeah, that's right.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those of you who haven't had any university experience, how are you feeling sitting here today and looking around at those who have perhaps?
Can I
Any-
tell you a funny story? My
any
son
nervous?
my son started uni yesterday, and I said to him, he went to his orientation here at Flinders, he's studying something else, and I said to him, now you go and you talk to somebody, you have a conversation and you make friends with somebody.
Yeah.
And he came home and he said to me, he was sitting in the lecture theatre and some guy came in and sat next to him and introduced himself, and they started talking, and he said to my son, oh, my mum works at Flinders and she worked in nursing, and I said, I bet she had the same conversation with you. So,
And I bet you know her.
yes, I do. So it's important to make some friends, say hi, get to know people. I think that's a good way to get started at least. So.
We kind of had our own, as we were preparing this, we had our own little giggles around our first experiences at university way back when, didn't we? One of mine was that I got into a classroom and I had made a friend at that stage, my little buddy and me would sit together, and we sat at the front of this class, and it was psychology actually. And the lecturer, but just for some reason, I don't know why, I just got the giggles and I absolutely could not stop. And the both of us were in absolute hysterics with tears running down. You know, when you're so emotional, and it was obviously nerves, and I just couldn't get control of those emotions. And we got kicked out of the class. I'm like, here's me, I'm little goody two-shoes, I've just started speech pathology, straight from school. And I got kicked out of the first class, and it's like, oh. So I totally understand those nerves, those, butterflies. Hopefully they can be, feelings of excitement rather than dread. So, yeah. And I went on and very successfully completed my degree. Yeah. And Lauren, you had a story too.
I did. When I was doing my first degree, which was psychology here at Flinders, I can remember driving into the car park and driving around and around and around, trying to find a car park, and I just burst into tears and drove home. So, that was not a great, it was in the first week, and I can remember thinking, I'm never going back there, I can't even find a car park. But anyway, I'm still here. So that's good. I did find a car park eventually.
The car park can still be a bit of a challenge sometimes.
And,
Yeah.
So plan ahead, guys.
I was going to say, if you're
Talk about
driving,
that.
come early.
Yeah, yeah. And then it was really funny because my background story was a psychology one as well. There must have been something in the water.
Psychology.
So,
Look out, Lauren.
well, yeah, especially when I tell you this one. Where mine was, I was all, we were settled into uni. We knew where to go. We knew what time things were on. This is back before lots of people had mobile phones. We'd sort of all traipsed in, hundreds of us, into our psychology lecture. And this phone started ringing and ringing and ringing. And the lovely, kindest, nicest psychology lecturer just got really cross because, phones were coming in, people weren't turning them off, and she got rather cross with the whole class, and we were all sort of sitting there waiting. Wasn't my phone, wasn't my phone, wasn't my phone. And then she starts lecturing again, and then the phone starts ringing again, and her handbag's sitting there. And she realises it's her phone that's going off. And she did lose control of the class there for a while, and she had trouble getting us back because we all got the fit of giggles and everything as well. So it's not just the students that have their wobbly moments. We're human. Any mistakes you find on flow are probably related to me not pushing the right button at the right time.
We do our best.
We try.
We're human.
We're human, just like the psychology lecturer back in the day.
Yeah. Do we have any other of our getting to know you questions?
We've got one more, which we sort of touched on before, but it would be cool to see sort of across the group. How many of you speak more than one language?
Oh, we got that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got quite a few.
Yeah. Anybody feel like sharing?
Yeah, up the back.
I speak English, Malay, Tamil, and I understand a little bit of Chinese.
Very
Brilliant.
impressive.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Anybody?
English and Sinhala.
English?
Mhm.
And I understand a little bit of Tamil.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I speak Hindi, Urdu, Bangla, English, Arabic, and I'm learning Korean.
And you're
Wow.
learning
Learning
Korean
Korean.
in your spare
Cool.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Fantastic.
Well done.
Excellent.
All right, so
Diverse group.
yeah, we've just thought we'd take it down a notch now and get you just to chat with each other just a little bit. Is that the next thing? Jane, do you want to explain?
So just get everybody to just sort of get to know the people sitting around you, small groups, threes, pairs. Feel free to move around so that you can have a sort of a closer connection to be able to talk to people without yelling across the room. Grab out your phone. What's on your screenshot, your screensaver. Share with what it is and perhaps what the meaning behind it is to you.
As long as you're happy sharing.
Yeah, as long as you're happy sharing.
And if you're not happy sharing, I think you probably should.
It might be time to change. You'll be using your phone a lot to connect in with the internet, to check what's going on, what your timetable says. Yeah, might be a little tip there from us.
Yeah. All right, so people who aren't sitting near somebody might want to scoot along or
scoot up.
find a spot with somebody. Yeah.
Class, across programs maybe as well, because we do some stuff where the bachelor's and the master's students do come together at times, so it's good to have a friendly face across the years. Does anybody feel like sharing what they've got as their screensaver and perhaps what it means to them? I can start. It's always easier when you've got somebody that can see it. You might not be able to see it, but I've got jellyfish on my screen, which looks quite standard, but I actually took the photo and was quite proud because I'm not very good at taking photos like that. And I was watching them at Sydney Aquarium, and I just remember how calm I felt sitting there watching them move about for like about 5 minutes, and I managed to take this photo that I actually was proud of because I'm not very good at that sort of stuff. And it's just a nice reminder for me of just sort of the calm things in life when you're not always so calm when you're on your phone sometimes. Anybody else? They don't have to have as much of a story. It could be just like, I like this.
Come on, don't be shy. Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can see in the back. really drunk and just like sort of celebrate the end of high school.
Yeah.
with my friends.
Yeah, and how nice would it be to be there today, this week, any moment? Yeah, in that cold, lovely water.
Anybody else?
Alright. This is a picture of a rock.
Yeah, love it.
A particular rock?
I love rock climbing, and I did like the first climb of that rock. So I got to name the rock, and it's just like a beautiful spot. So I just like love going there, love looking at it.
Cool.
Beautiful.
It's nice to be able to look at it every time you look at your phone then, isn't it?
And where is it? Is it in South Australia?
It's in Corn.
Oh,
Yeah.
Corn. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely, in Flinders Ranges.
And what did you name your rock?
Change your super.
Change your super.
Which is after my friend. He really wanted to like promote changing your super for ethical investment.
Okay, brilliant. That's great.
Sure. The simplest things can have such a bigger story, can't they?
I
Yeah.
like it. That's
Yeah.
great.
Thank you, guys.
Excellent. Alrighty, I've got the boring stuff now. Sorry. I will just jump on to some of the kind of nitty gritty, detaily bits. I'm going to jump through a lot of these slides because my guess is that you guys stop me if you think, oh my God, I haven't seen that and I don't know what it is and I'm not sure. But some of the my mic is on. Some of my slides, some of the slides have been provided to us, but I think in order for you to have got this far, you actually have probably got this information. So,
Yell out if you haven't.
yeah, yell out.
We'll put the slides up on
Yeah, the slides will be up on Flow. So anything that I don't cover in detail here, you can go back and have a look at. So
Well,
this
we
is
realised
just
tonight-
about the Wi-Fi that you can use here at Flinders and in the university. So the network name is Edgerome. And you can just put your fan in and your password, and that will give you access to be able to use your Wi-Fi wherever you are at the university. So ID cards, you can order those online. So you can go through the quick links in Compass to order your ID card. And it's important that you have an ID card, particularly coming here to Flinders Medical Centre. Just, we've found in the past that sometimes coming and going might be a bit difficult, so you might need it to be able to get in and out of the doors if you're here late or those sorts of things. I think they are from the student hub up near the library. There's a hub section up there. And I think that's where they're collected from. I think there's more information on the site about that.
On the main campus.
Up in the main, near the main library.
So a good opportunity to explore
Yes.
as well when you go to pick up.
Yeah. There's good coffee in a caravan up in the hub.
Yeah.
If you haven't found that yet, that's the good coffee spot. Okay, this is all about enrolments and registering. Has anyone not enrolled yet? I'm figuring you've all enrolled because you're all here. Okay, so Flow. This is our learning environment. So Flinders learning environment, we call it Flow. It's where all of your important information is going to be about all of your topics. And so we are right in the middle of a bit of a change in that we're halfway through this year, we'll be moving to a new platform on which Flow is being run. At the moment, speech pathology for this semester is going to sit on the old platform just so that we can get you set up and ready, and then we will roll you over and you'll get support to know how to use the new one. My son, who's studying up in education, he's got a half-half, which is, half is on the new platform and half is on the old. So I'm going to be madly learning through his topics, I think, this semester.
Well, we might call them in as the expert.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, so Flow, I'll show you what Flow looks like for us as we go through.
The new one is called Canvas, by the way.
Yes.
So if you come across that name,
And
we'll
you
be porting over to Canvas, but not yet.
Yeah, and you'll see at the top of that screen, in that little bit of red up the top there, it says if you can't find your topics, please check for Canvas. None of the speech pathology topics are in Canvas, okay? So if you can't find your topics for some reason, it's not that reason. So you'll need to come and check with us or with the flow support people. So semester 1, we're going to be on the Moodle platform, which is, it's still going to be called Flow. Nothing's changing in terms of the name. It's just what it's being run on is different and what it will look like. So this is just a picture, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get out of these slides and I'll go into one of the Bachelor flow sites so that you can see exactly what they look like. And how many, hands up, how many people have already been into flow and looked at their subjects, their topics?
Oh,
Most
brilliant.
people. Fantastic. Excellent. All right, so you'll see that for each topic, they're pretty much set out the same way, the same information in the same order, so that we try and make things easy for you. So everyone will have, well, most of them at the moment, will have a welcome video, something about us. There's announcements in that top block there that I use. You won't use that, but anything I put on there will go directly to your email. So I can email the whole cohort or who are doing that topic through that announcement. Just at the top of your site here, on this left-hand side, you'll see there's something called topic blocks, and you can click on that and open it up, and inside that you can find things like your timetable, your grades, who else you're doing your topic with, the student evaluation of teaching, which I will talk about in a bit, and yeah, so who's involved in the topic, all those sorts of things are in that topic block at the top. So you can close that up if you're not using it. And then what we have is that the flow sites are all laid out in the same kind of way. We have our topic information and resources, and in there you'll find for every topic that you do a topic book, and that will outline what your topic is about, what your assessments are, important information about who's running your topic, how you can contact them. I can open one up and show you. So this is for my first year psychology topic, and it says that it's me. It's got information about who's involved, the tutors, the learning outcomes, what we actually want you to get from each of the topics that you are doing with us. And as Jo was saying before, all of this comes down from Speech Pathology Australia. All of what we put together in our curriculum is guided by what we need you to be at the end of your second or your 4 years, okay? Depending on which program you're doing. How we deliver it, whether we've got lectures, tutorials, and for the first years I do put a bit of a guide in terms of dates and things in there as well. A little bit about flow, and then some things about your assessment. So you can find out information about what assessment pieces you're doing in there, in that topic book as well. All right, so each topic will have one of these topic books that has been updated for the year. There's something about participation expectations, and we are very, very lucky now that we are all back up and running. It's been a pretty horrendous few years for everybody, and I know that you guys going through school might have experienced some of this, but here at university it's been pretty trying, and so we are very grateful to have everybody back in and face to face and doing everything that we need to be doing so that we all get to see each other and you get to spend time together. And what we found during COVID is that the learning just wasn't as satisfactory. People didn't get the chance to talk to each other during, after lectures, while they're doing workshops, those sorts of things. That kind of incidental learning that you get from being with each other, that people who've studied before would understand, or people that have been at school where you're hanging out with your mates and you're talking about, oh, I'm doing this assignment and I'm not sure about this and that. Those sorts of things just weren't happening, and so we really actually saw that in the outcomes, and we had to do a lot of work to really support our students through that. So we want you to take the opportunity. We do have our lectures are recorded, but if you can be here, it's really important to be if you can. Tutorials, you must be there. We want you to be learning in groups, doing what you're doing, talking about what you've been learning. So the expectation is that you will be in tutorials, particularly, well, everybody actually, but PBL for the master's students, so much of your learning happens in that time, and there is actually grades for participation in terms of showing your professional skills within those tutorials, and that's going to be the case for our Bachelor cases as well. So you need to be demonstrating professionalism, and not turning up is actually not professional. So you know, we want you to be thinking about the speech pathologist that you're going to be in 2 or 4 years' time, and you will be involved in case reviews, case discussions with families, with other allied health, medical, educational staff, and so you must turn up, and because eventually you must turn up. Okay, so we want you thinking of yourselves as speech pathologists from the very beginning. Workshops, so workshops again, they're not recorded, so they are your opportunity to really get in and get hands-on. I do a lot of the workshops with the first year master's students. We get in and do assessments and figure out how to score things and how do we interpret and analyse things, and so it really gives you a chance to actually have a go, practice with each other, do some things that, you know, if you don't get to the chance to do it with each other, the first time you're going to be doing it is with a client. Okay, so it's really important to have a go and be there and be part of that and engage in it. Readings, every site has your readings list, and you can click on that and it will actually show you what's available in terms of weekly readings, and there's references to all of those in your topic so that you know. We have a frequently asked questions list, so if you're not sure about something, always check there first, because often, you know, we add to that every year, and the questions that you will ask are the same questions that have been asked for many, many years, and so often the answers are sitting right there for you. There's other information if you're in tutorial groups or study teams, all that will be linked on there as well. Now there's a communication hub, and within the communication hub we have our general discussion forum, and this is the place that you can ask questions about your topic. So, you know, one thing that we want you to be thinking about as becoming speech pathologists is communication, and part of communication is being able to clarify and to seek information out. And so we really want you to be thinking about asking those questions. We don't, if you were coming in with all the knowledge that you needed, you would already be speech pathologists, okay? So we expect you to ask questions, we expect you to ask lots of questions, and so this is the place to ask those questions. And the reason we use this forum is so that everybody gets to see the questions being asked and everybody gets to see the answers. There are no silly questions, okay? There is no such thing. So we really want that to go on there. If you have a personal issue that you want to discuss with your topic coordinator, you can email them then, but only if it's something personal. If it's anything to do with your topics, then it needs to go on that general discussion forum. And we won't actually respond to questions within emails. We get lots and lots of emails. We won't actually respond to questions that come through as an email if it's to do with a topic, just so that, you know, we want it to go through this general discussion forum.
Lauren, we might respond, but we'll ask you to post it on the forum.
Yeah,
So we might say, yeah, really great question.
Yeah,
others will benefit from this, so
Just
please cut and
post it.
paste it onto the forum, and then others, and we will answer it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we won't actually answer it in an email.
Yeah.
So that's our communication hub. And then the next one down is your assessment hub. And this has got some really important things in there. We have in each of the assessment hubs what we call our statement of assessment methods. And this is just a guide to you, and it's an official document that every topic within the university has that says this is the assessment that will be used for this particular topic. This is the percentage that it accounts for. It will tell you whether or not, you know, what the consequences are for it being late, in a hurdle task is a must pass. So if you have a topic, have an assessment piece that says yes, so your exam in this topic is a must pass, then you must pass it in order to pass the topic. Okay, and so we have quite a few of those within our topics. So please don't think that, oh, well, I've done 3 out of the 4 of my assignments, I've probably got enough marks to get through. Don't fall for that trap. Have a look, check that it's not a must pass, because yeah, as I said, a lot of our assessment pieces are must pass. And on there you can also find things like how our topic learning outcomes relate to each of the assessment pieces that we've got for you.
And Lauren, can I add that we don't just make the must pass, on a whim.
No.
It's actually really important foundational knowledge that you need to go on to your next year of study, and that if you don't have the knowledge or the skill that's needed, you'll flounder in the next year's topic, or it's required by our accreditation body. That whole of cohort must reach this level of competency through this assessment to be recognised as competent in a particular area of practice. So those must passes are not random, they're very well thought through. There are opportunities. I don't want you to get really freaked out to actually re-sit an assignment if you fail a must pass assessment. And then there's further opportunities again to pass topics as a whole. And we will go through some of that assessment policy. But just so you know, there's a reason for them being must pass.
Yeah. Sitting underneath we call these SAMs. So if you hear people referring to the SAM, that's what this statement of assessment methods is. And sitting under here is our extension request portal. So if something happens and you are not going to be able to get your assessment piece in on time, you've got sick, or something's happened to you, please go in there to make a request for an extension. There are rules around extensions, so the fact that work's called you in for an extra shift isn't actually considered a reason for an extension. It's, if it's a personal, something's happened in the family, if you're unwell.
If you're a carer for somebody who's
unwell. And we will ask for, so like a medical certificate, those sorts of things are required to be uploaded into your extension request so that you can demonstrate that you've, that something's happened, so that we know that you know what's going on, but also that we can check up and make sure that you're okay. So they obviously have to go in prior to the due date of your assessment. There's no point in waiting till afterwards and then putting it in. So don't be afraid to use this. Like, it's there for a reason. We understand life gets in the way of study, and we know that these things happen, but try and get your extension requests in and use the extension request portal to do it, just so that we won't actually respond to emails about extensions. So please don't email us saying, oh, I'm not well and I can't get my assignment in. These extension request kind of notifications come to us on a regular basis, and we will approve them. Some people do it every morning, or some people do it, every afternoon or whatever. So don't panic if it's not done within, the first 2 hours.
Yeah. For example, I know that the system updates me at 5:30 every morning. It sends an email in saying that I've got a certain number to view. Before that, I don't know if you've sent it in at 9 o'clock the day before. Yeah. But as soon as I know that something's there, we all take it seriously when there's extension requests there. We will get to it. We will respond to you and provide you with the details back of what the due date is, the agreement that we have.
Yeah. And we can see, you know, we can see the time and the date that,
Yeah.
that it goes in, so we can see whether you've done it before the due time and whatever else. So don't panic about that.
I would just add to that, Lauren, that use that as your last resort, but do use it. I mean, we are
Yes.
encouraging you to use it and not take a late penalty if there's
Yes.
something that really is extenuating and legitimate. But maybe plan ahead so that you've actually diarised and programmed all of your assessments in your calendar and diary. Get organised right at the beginning. That would be my best piece of advice for you. Most of you will be studying 4 topics in the Masters 3, in the Bachelor
yeah.
4
Yeah.
per semester if you've got a full-time load. So look at all 4 topic books, look at the flow sites, check all the due dates, put them in your diary, and then organise yourself for what's coming first, what's coming next. We will support you in our topics as we go through. This assignment's due now, this workshop supports that. Pay attention, this is exactly what you're going to be doing in your assignment. But I would have them all in a calendar, get really, really organised, super organised really early. I'm
And I
probably
had a
talking to
trick.
the converted for a lot of people here.
I know.
Yeah.
And a trick that I used in my second degree, because I was dreadful in my first, was, and I learnt my lesson because it was so stressful, but I used to put my dates in early so if it's due on a Friday, I'd say it was due on the Monday, so that my brain thought, okay, well, I've got to get it done by then, and then I had a bit of leeway if something drastic happened. So I used to try and trick myself into thinking had to come a bit earlier. So,
And I still use it. I've got on the pin-up board upstairs, I've got all your due dates for my topics due so that I know when I have to do the marking and do my homework on those as well. So so it's a visual one I walk past all day, every day, to set it up to go, right, I knew that those 2 are due on the 4th of April. I've got to get myself into gear, make sure I get it back to you on time.
beautiful. What else? Studiosity is in there. So Studiosity is a program that you can use to check your assignments. If you are not great with your written English, then you know it's great to run your assignments through Studiosity or get some support. Student Learning Centre here at Flinders has lots of opportunities for you to get some support if you feel that you need that. It's not everybody's greatest strength, but it's really important. Again, we are a communication profession, and if we're going to be out writing reports for families to read, for teachers to read, for doctors to read, we need to be able to read them, to write them in a way that's using proper English and appropriate spelling and punctuation and all those sorts of things. So it is, if it's not a skill that you have, then I really suggest that you start working on it and find some strategies to support you as you move through. We also have text matching here, which a number of you would have used previously. We have Turn It In. We are all aware of the new things that are out and about, the artificial intelligence things, and we are very cognizant of what things look like that come out of that. So be aware that it's not as straightforward as it appears for people using it, and there are some things, some glitches that are quite obvious if we're receiving things that have been done in those sort of programs. So the thing that with our assignments though, mostly it's very authentic. So we do things like we're getting you to video record yourself doing feedback to a parent about an assessment. We're getting you to do an assessment. We're getting you to do an intervention where you actually write an intervention plan. So there are things that I don't think we're going to be quite so impacted by it, but just beware of that stuff because there are implications for using it. And so each of the assessments is then outlined. Lovely, I love these. Look at that. You know, you get to see me like this. Or a funny face, pulling a funny face. In some of my first year assignments, I do some little video explanations of what the assessment pieces are, just to help people who want to hear it again rather than just read it. And then each of your assessments has these drop boxes here where you can click on and you can find any information that you need. There might be instructions, there might be rubrics, there might be... so every assessment piece that we do has a rubric, and it has instructions, and often there'll be examples and things like that in there that you can see as well. But it's all sitting within those portals, and that's where you upload your assessments when they're ready and done. Any questions so far?
Do people know what rubrics are? Yep.
Yeah.
So basically it's a guide for you to know what you're aiming for, but also a guide for us when we're marking to be able to allocate the grade. Yep. Great.
And then most of our topics are set out week by week so that you'll get to see what's in the week and, hidden. I have some things hidden. What's, so you can go by week. You can find your lecture recordings in here. They sit within these topics. Any reminders, those sorts of things. So you can just, as the weeks go by, close them off, and then you don't have to think about them too much. And that's what the topic sites look like in Flow. Some of them are a little bit different. The master's topics, you have lots of different bits and pieces because we're really highly integrated. So you might have parts about anatomy and linguistics, and so it's not going to be quite as straightforward as this, but we figure you're seasoned studiers, and so you'll be able to adapt a little bit easier to those sorts of things. Anything else, Jo, that we needed to go through in terms of flow? No? Alrighty. Well, we might have 7 minutes early for morning tea. Is that...
No, there's a few other things.
Things on the slides, yeah.
Right. No, okay. Yeah, we'll do. Sorry about that.
Sorry guys, very
Yeah.
soon we'll have morning tea.
Yeah.
Jane's got a few.
Yeah, obviously Lauren's hungry.
Yeah,
Needs a
I am.
coffee.
Sorry, I need a coffee. Oh, parking? Yeah. Are you doing that? Or
Yeah.
you can.
We kind of talked about.
Yes, you can do that bit.
We kind of talked about parking before. You will need a permit if you don't already have one. On the uni's website, it talks you through there. They will fine you if you don't have a permit. So make sure you have it set up. You can either get one that runs every day or all week, especially if you're here on campus that much, or you can get casual parking through what's called Cello Park, and you do it through an app on your phone each day that you're in here. I don't want you getting fined. Make sure you've got it set up as well. I saw heaps of students getting the train, so I think people are sort of getting their heads around that a bit more. It takes you into the city, or it can bring you in from different spots in the suburbs as well. We're a huge campus. It's huge. It's hot today. It's hot all week. We've got a loop bus it's free. You can hop on and hop off as you go along. It takes you to sort of the different parts. It takes you over to Sturt, takes you up to the main campus, especially if you want to go and explore some of the O-Week stuff that's going on in a broader part of the uni on Wednesday, Thursday. Pick up your ID card, go to the library because it's nice and cold there. Go have a drink or some lunch or a coffee up in the main campus to just sort of explore. This is sort of a good opportunity when you're not dashing to get to a lecture to try and use the buses and see what's going on. There's an app that tells you when it's moving around and you know how long you're waiting for and stuff like that, which I've used, which is quite useful. Do know, and part of my role as a student engagement coordinator, I can help talk you sort of through sort of this sort of system and help point you in the direction of some of the ones that are more focused towards speech pathology students. But there are a range of scholarships for different students studying different courses with different backgrounds, with different financial and personal needs as well. So really do investigate these, look at all the opportunities that are out there to help support you that the university can provide through the scholarship process. You may need to meet some criteria. If you're trying to figure out what's what, please come and talk to me and I can help navigate that with you as well. We take safety really seriously here at the uni, and we take it very seriously here in speech pathology as well. If you see something that is unacceptable, report it. There's systems set up there to report it through, to make a confidential report. We take it really seriously and we act on it and we follow through on it. I want to sort of, make that clear that that's what we do. We can talk, the system that's set up can talk you through the next steps or how to help you. And whilst there are official things there as well, do know you have the support of the team behind you as well here in speech pathology if you need it. And on that line, it's respect. It's always, it's now, it's ongoing. Everybody at this campus deserves to feel safe and supported. And there are different services that you can access. You'll see this slide again in your first week and across topics, and have access to the information there as well. There's different counselling services, different ways to report an incident, confidentiality, seek support during university time, like hours, or after hours support as well. We also have our health counselling and disability services, so they provide GP or nurse services as well, an opportunity to talk to a counsellor. You can talk to a disability advisor about studying with a health or mental health condition, and set up things to help make it appropriate for you and your needs. You can access self-help resources. They've got mountains of stuff there. They're available 9 to 5 weekdays. Their emails are there. We do also have through the university an after hours crisis support line. You'll see the phone number or their SMS down the bottom there. You'll also see that up in flow on some of our messages on their website. And if you feel that you're in that spot in that time, or you know that somebody is, please make that phone call. Feel that you can reach out and you will be supported. The university is really strong on wanting to support their students throughout the years in different ways.
Sorry, can I just jump in?
Yep.
If anybody also has any sort of disability, learning disability, a specific learning impairment like a dyslexia or anything at all that you think will kind of restrict you in some way in terms of your study, you can get an access plan through health and counselling, and it's really important that that you do that, and you can then share that if you need to with the topic coordinator. If, for example, something's happening and you're feeling not so great at the time and you need some assistance with anything, or you just need some extra time for an assessment piece. Please feel free to grab one of those as well.
Yep, and you can go straight to health and disability and counselling to set that up yourself. You don't have to speak to your topic coordinator or me as the student engagement coordinator to set that up. But once you've got them in place, we do need to know about them so that we can make sure that we're giving you the access that you need and make sure that we're meeting the requirements of it as well, and know that there are the things there around extensions and whatnot. If this is a whole new area to you and you're sort of wanting to explore it a bit more, or you've got some more questions, you can ask Health Counselling and Disability, or you can have a chat to me as the Student Engagement Coordinator as well, which I'll talk about in a second. We've also got Oasis with the Student Wellbeing Centre. They're here on campus. They do a lot of stuff sort of up on Sturt, but they do sort of get out and about. You will have seen the books that we had up the front. They're just sort of an activity book to help with positive mental health and different opportunities along the way. Tuck it away, pull it out when you need it. This great resource that they've created. They do conversation groups. They do like physical activity stuff with yoga. There's a chaplaincy program across multiple religions. Walks through the forest that we've got here. Meditation. They do lots of different activities, and it's about that well-being, that bigger picture of wellness, not just that sort of focusing in on your studies, focusing on your whole life as well. So we've also got a diverse range of staff and students here at the university. So please know we've got different prayer rooms available, different conversational groups, equal opportunity advisors, our Pride network supporting students and staff as well, and our Good Vibes experiment, which this activity book has come out of as well. So there's a website down there so that you can sort of delve in to find out the different activities that they've got going on when they're running as well. So we've also got the Speech Pathology and Audiology Student Association, our FUSPA, and that's run by the students for the students. They've recently had some funding approved so they can do some more bits and pieces, and they're really excited about getting everybody back together this year. So they support speech pathology, bachelor and master's students, and audiology students, advocating for them, and also doing fun stuff like pub crawls. You'll see, you may have seen people with jumpers for speech pathology or the audiology ones as well. Quiz nights, there's usually an annual ball middle of the year, second half of the year, roundabout, when they can book it. Yeah, yeah. And they do fundraising and awareness events linked to speech pathology throughout the year. We love a good bake sale. And so that, if you want to get the QR code, you can jump on there. They've got Facebook and Instagram if you're wanting to explore it. If you go on Fly, you'll see that I've put an announcement out on their behalf. They've got their AGM coming up and they're looking for more members across the board as well. Then we've got, I can never do this acronym properly. So we've got the Rural Health Society for Flinders University, and this is a society for students that are interested in rural healthcare for once they graduate, going rural. You know, Jo still goes on about the opportunity she had in Port Augusta and what it means to her, and it obviously leaves a really lifelong impression, and some people move that way ongoing. It gives you events and exposure to different rural locations. There's networking like across the college and across the uni as well to meet more like-minded people, social stuff, outreach programs that they do with local high schools, engagement with different communities out in rural locations. They do a couple of trips out there, and then they have a campfire opportunity as well. And they're mainly up on Instagram, so you can find out more. But lots of speech pathology students do go rural, do lots of rural placements. So it's a good idea to make connections in different ways that you can get involved with fellow speech pathology students as well as different allied health students as well. And then we've got FUSA, which is our broader student association. You may have seen some stuff about those guys already. They're about representing the rights and the interests of students. They offer student support across a wide range of areas. So grants, so different to scholarships, but they offer twice a year, and I'll be posting stuff, sharing information about that, about different grants for hardship or trying to get actual extra training opportunities as well, that they can put funding towards those. If you find yourself in a difficult financial situation, they are a great organisation to talk to. I can help you connect to them. You can talk to them direct. They provide things like petrol vouchers, food vouchers. They can provide, you know, really low cost, no cost, interest-free loans if you get yourself in a position where you're not able to make ends meet. Do know that there are options and that we can help you, and that there are ways that you can still access food. You can get they can help you get bus tickets and things like that, because, you know, life is a big thing and life impacts on your uni as well as your uni impacting on your life, and we want to make it as sort of, you know, the best that you can without those sorts of challenges, and help when they're there as well. If there are any concerns around academic stuff, they can come in and help explain things and advocate and work with you and work with the academic staff from our side to help resolve the issue as well. They can offer independent legal advice through the part of the university that studies law, they offer that, and then accommodation advice. They may not be able to find you somewhere, but if you're having trouble with a landlord or you're actually having trouble finding accommodation and are in a bit of a crisis and don't have anywhere to live, you can talk to them as well, and they'll help with what they can there as well. There's also clubs and sporting clubs as well, so social things, and then, you know, if you're really into your soccer or your Quidditch. I remember we had some students into their Quidditch one year, and they had a team set up as well. And, you know, good old Harry Potter reference. They have all sorts of things, everything across the spectrum. If there's not a club, they'll ask if you want to start the club as well. So they're very broad-minded there as well. So there's a range of different services that way as well. And that slide might have disappeared off, I don't know where it's gone. But as student engagement coordinator, that's sort of another service that we provide around, it's around engagement. We want you involved. It's around that pastoral care, so supporting you when times are sort of tough, if you need to talk to somebody, because there's been a big event in your life and you need to make some changes or adjustments with assignments across like all 4 of your topics. I don't provide the counselling, but I'll talk to you about how you're accessing support and help you connect with the university services. But I can help you work with the team to find new due dates, to negotiate on things, to explain with as much or as little information as you wish to share about what's going on and how we can best look after you as well. So happy to chat about the different things that we offer here at the uni during the break time or lunch or across the year. And I think we're about to now to morning tea.
Sorry. Yeah. If we could maybe just have a 10-minute break, just so that we can stretch our legs, grab a drink. 10-15 minutes. Sometimes there's a line up at the cafe to get coffee. There is a cafe down on level 4. If you actually just go back around to the right. You're going. Follow Lauren.
Lauren might run the unofficial tour.
So come back at 10:40. 10:50. A drink. We've got a few people missing still, so we might wait a couple of more minutes. Empty seats. I hope they haven't gone home. I know a couple of people had to shift cars. But hopefully they're going to be back. Our next section now is really just to introduce to you Jane Bickford, Dr. Jane Bickford, who's our academic lead, as I explained. And I might just hand straight over to Jane.
Thanks, Jo.
Following Jane, we've got a few activities, and then we'll be meeting other staff and then stopping for lunch. Okay.
Hi everyone, thanks Jo. I'm the other Jane, so I'm Jane B and this is Jane TM. Okay, so that's, you know, it gets a bit confusing in our department, but I'm really thrilled to see you, so many of you, and also so thrilled to welcome you back to campus. As Jo and Lauren and Jane have been saying, this is your campus, make it your campus, and the hub is a really lovely space now. Lots of light, lots of cafes, looks over the lake. Most students connect with the lake and the environs in some way. So I'm just here to give a really quick rundown of me and the programs. But I do think it's really important to give an acknowledgement of country, and this beautiful campus is on Kaurna land. So I would like to pay my respects to Elders past, present and emerging, and also the traditional custodians of this land, and recognise their continued connection, their culture, their spiritual connection to this land, and also to acknowledge any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are with us today. The other thing to say is that they're the longest storytellers. We've got 60,000 years of connection and storytelling, and that is something that you're going to learn a lot about in speech pathology, the importance of communication. So we are fully accredited. We're the only courses in South Australia that are fully accredited, and we're accredited from 2022 to 2026. And we've been educating you guys since 1975. So the Bachelor students will be here for our 50th anniversary, and we'll be bringing the Master students back who've just graduated to celebrate that momentous milestone. I'm not going to go through the mission, but just to say we have a mission. But I've distilled our vision from the mission, that we believe that we're innovative leaders in speech pathology who, through collaborative relationships, and relationships are really important to us, and changing contexts, deliver transformative and inclusive education and research. So some of us, all of us actually teach and educate and bring on our practice with us. And there's a group of us that are also doing a lot of research. And there's a group of us doing scholarship. So we see that as being really important to being contemporary and to being innovative.
Can I just say, scholarship is actually research about teaching.
About teaching, yeah. And what we value is connection. So relationships, speech pathologists are about connection and communication. We're also a little bit about swallowing, but let's just sort of park the idea of communication and relationships. And we hope that through our relational work and modelling to you, that you can see how important that is to be those speech pathologists that we want you to be. So we connect with you, we connect with our industry partners, we connect with the university in lots of different ways, and our colleagues. We also have Flinders is probably our point of difference is we have a firm value and belief in inclusivity, and we really want speech pathologists to be representative of the world out there. We have a really lovely influx of international students into our programs. We try and make sure that we have a diverse student cohort, so school leavers, people who have come back to university, may have had a whole lot of life experience. We are getting better at having some gender diversity within our group, and that's a speech pathology wide thing, it's not just a Flinders thing. So we are really thrilled. And we think things like the King's Speech might have helped, bring a few more men and a bit more diversity within speech pathology, and we think that's fantastic. Because if you go into a hospital ward, it's not all women. You go into a school, there's lots of things that we really want to be representative in, cultural and linguistic diversity, all sorts of things. So that's really important to us. Boldness. So Flinders actually does have a really good reputation, and the speech team has a good reputation of just trying to sort of think outside the square a bit. We've had an integrated curricula for about 10 years now, lots of case studies, and you go into accreditation. I'm now accredited for Speech Pathology Australia, and they go, oh, well, students shouldn't be didactic, chalk and talk, this kind of thing. It should be about real life case studies and experiences. We've been doing that for a long time. So that's just an example of just trying to kind of push the edge with curricula. And excellence, we want to be evidence-based. We want to make sure that what we are saying to the public out there is, as a speech pathologist, this is what you're going to get. We have practitioners who will be able to synthesise the best available evidence to do and practice at a very high level and an ethical level. So there's a whole lot of things that we will try and support you and your understanding. Sometimes we see students go, oh, my head hurts, but we're here to help you. And in some ways, I heard a Uni SA professor say, some of the tricky things for students is they kind of see, you put your lecturers or whatever up on a pedestal, but we're actually here to coach you and support you as well. We're vested in your success. So, how to survive. So we've talked a lot about where the coffee and the burgers and the chips are. But one of my take-homes to you is, if in doubt, ask. Okay, we might not have the answer, but we might go, you know, that university service over there or that person over there might be able to help you. So again, connection, relationship, ask. Keep organised. So this is, interestingly, just at a, we have a course advisory group, and somebody who's just graduated said, you know, on that first day, Jane, you said, organise your files this way. And I will talk to the masters about doing that. But, you know, keep organised because there's a lot of information. And I know there's some wonderful AI technology going around, but at the end of the day, you are the commander of your ship, and you will have to, you know, bring in that information and having done those assessments or whatever and try and sort of collate that into some sort of order. So whether it is setting up a disk where you've got different folders that says, you know, this is all about communication and this is what I've done under communication with kids or whatever. You work out your systems, but keep organised. Work as a team. So, you know, I hear this often, oh, universities, they have group work or whatever, but we, you know, when you go out and work, you will be working in teams. And so this is your testing ground, if you like, to be doing that. And we're going to give you lots of feedback around your ability to work with peers, to work with other professions. So you might work with physio students or OT students or disability students around your ability to work in a team, because they're the skills that you will have. And so often, having worked, and I didn't really sort of give you any background, I am a speech pathologist, I've worked clinically for about 12 years, that you are the sole speech pathologist in the room and you'll be working with nurses and doctors and what have you. So your capacity to be relational, to work in a team is pivotal. And the final thing I'd say is trust us. As I said, we've been doing this a long time. We're very experienced in terms of being clinicians, but also being educators to support you to meet the accreditation requirements that you need to be able to become or be eligible to become a member of Speech Pathology Australia, which is kind of your end goal. You probably think, oh, that's too far away. But just trust that, you know, we have certain assessments and requirements along the way to support you to achieve those. We also offer fun in the classroom, so you might just zero in on the middle there. So my second year's making a larynx, and they're their lungs with their balloons. So they look pretty happy. They didn't mind doing that activity with me. And we also have fun by the campfire. So these are the international students that went up and had a wonderful time at Pink Gum in the, where is it, near Clarendon, last July. It was cold, but, you know, they loved the marshmallows and the sausages and what have you, so that was a fun evening. We have a dedicated, experienced and friendly staff who want to see you succeed. I was trying to find a lecture. You're wearing the same dress? No. And you know, we're learning as well. So we're doing a lot in the cultural responsiveness space as a team, and hope that our own capability will kind of come across to you in the classroom. And what we ultimately want is well-rounded speech path graduates who are dynamic, you know, not afraid of a bit of boldness and a bit of a challenge, who are collegial, who are responsive and reflective. Okay, that's what we hope for you. And this is Greg. He did honours with me 2 years ago and did a wonderful project in youth justice. And the last day will come sooner than you think. Okay, so for master's students it'll be in 2 years, and for bachelor students it'll be in 4. And we love to celebrate your success. And catch up with you once you have left us. So this is a Speech Pathology Australia Welcome to New Graduates evening. And because we know that at Flinders, speech pathology graduates are fearless, and here we've got Tim Kittle, who's the current president of Speech Pathology Australia, who's alumni, and Rosie Martin, who was actually the former Tasmanian of the Year and nominee for Australian of the Year, and does wonderful work in youth justice. So, and Tim's head of Autism SA. So yeah, these are the things that we keep us going. Any questions?
They're very quiet, this group.
That's okay. I often get, in my sets, why does she keep asking us questions? Because I'm relational. So it's not that I'm here to frighten you. I'm just and if you don't know the answer or whatever, I just have to get better at having Slidos or something, and people can put in, if they're not feeling bold enough to say something, then, you've got other ways, because we're multimodal, aren't we, Jo?
We are multimodal, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much,
Look forward
Jane.
to seeing you around.
I don't know about you, but I'm really inspired to become a speech pathologist. I didn't know I already am.
Yeah. Actually, one thing I can say.
Oh, yes.
Even if you don't continue to be a speech pathologist, I've been racking my brains to think what degree program informs you about development across the lifespan that you can use either to inform parenting or to support your elderly parent or to support somebody with a disability. There is no other program, not even medicine, I think, covers or goes into. So I've worked in early intervention, schools, rehab centres, hospitals, acute tertiary hospitals, universities. I've worked overseas, I've worked interstate. In terms of capacity, and there is, because it goes back to communication and swallowing, there's fundamentals of life. It's amazing.
There are so many opportunities. We have so many of our wonderful graduates are taken up into project management or continuous improvement, committees on hospital boards, management, because we have those relational communication skills. So you'll be well set up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Jane.
No worries.
Now we have a little fun.
Me again.
We decided we might just do a few practical activities,
Yes.
and these are actual things that we do with our clients as speech pathologists. But we're going to make it a little bit of a competition,
Yes.
because who doesn't love a good competition?
Who doesn't love a prize?
And we've got a few
merch,
prizes. We've got some goodie bags here. So our first activity, I think we'll do the R, will we?
Yeah, let's do that
So
one.
one of the things that we do as speech pathologists, we want to know the quality of someone's voice and how well they can sustain a single note in terms of their ability to have respiratory support, to have their vocal cords vibrating appropriately, and to produce a sound, okay? So in pairs or groups of 3 or 4, wherever you feel comfortable, whoever you've made a friend with, we're going to get you to do some experiments. So the first one, Jane.
So we'll do the R one first.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you or me?
No, that's okay, because
It
you won't be
doesn't have to
getting
in
that from me.
tune. No.
No. But so you're wanting us to time, well, you guys time each other and take turns as to how long you can do. I'm going to do this really badly. No, she's watching me.
She's the voice
She's the
guru.
voice. So about like going, ah. God,
So
thank
as
God.
long as you can,
As long as you can possibly hold it. Yeah, this will bring out the opera singers hiding in the corner. We've had professional singers. We had opera. Yeah.
Okay.
We've just had a jazz singer and an opera singer graduate. And we'll take a bit of honesty, count how long you can go for.
Okay, does everyone know what they're going to do? Okay, go for it.
Got into the spirit. Okay. We'll be going for the longest to find out who's gone the longest. So make a note of the time. Don't forget to swap over so everyone gets a turn. Okay, finish up if you want to let it out, get it through, get your knot. Yeah, but we'll come back together and we'll see who's got the longest. Yeah, everyone's had a chance. We've got some other activities, so you're still up for another chance at a prize with a different one.
Hope you collected your time. You've got that on your phone. Got a time?
Yep.
Okay, so who's got what they think is a long time?
Yeah. What felt like a long time?
Yeah, okay, what time?
38 seconds.
38. Ooh, who can beat that?
Oh, we've got
43.
anybody got more than 43?
Quick, put your hand up.
No,
No.
43 is it? And
Anyone more than 38 and less than 43? No.
I think we've got our first winners. All right, we'll go on to our next one. This one requires a
Okay.
bit of brain activity and recall and ability to remember things.
Yep.
How many animals, different types of animals, so like cat, dog, bird, not cockatoo, budgie
Doesn't
sort of
matter.
thing?
Doesn't
matter?
matter.
Okay.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it doesn't matter for this one? All right.
Because that's one of the skills, actually.
Yeah.
This is about word finding and thinking of words quickly. And one of the skills is to actually go within categories, like
Yep, that's a
categories of
different one,
birds,
yeah.
categories of jungle animals, categories of pets, for example. So that's okay.
That's okay. So this is something speech pathologists do.
Yes.
In real life practice. So 1 minute, how many animals can you name?
no repetition.
No repetition.
Okay, how many in 1 minute?
And no plurals like, galah, galahs, right?
Or six
Different
galahs,
animal
six
names.
animals.
So you'll need a partner to actually count your number
Yep.
of animals as they time you for a minute. All right, so here's a couple of skills you'll need as speech pathologists. Think
Yep.
of words, but also timing and counting. We do a lot of that.
Now see why we talked about your screensaver at the beginning?
Okay, go. One minute. 1 minute.
Okay. Are we done? Everybody done?
Can I just ask, who did that in English? Did anyone think that they could have done it in a different language, or even if would that have been easier? For
And would
some
you have
of
got a different
maybe.
score?
And how many used your phone to count?
We saw lots of fingers.
So there's a tip for you. When you're counting next time, you can actually use your phone to count.
So
Plus,
the 1
use your
plus 1.
calculator.
Yeah.
Calculator. Yeah. So when we're actually doing that in practice, we will use
Yep.
our phones
We
to
count
count.
how many syllables or how many
you know, if you've got a
stutters there
pen,
might
but-
be.
Yeah.
You haven't got a pen.
Animals.
Yep. Okay.
Great.
So, what should we go with? Who got over 10? Yeah, good.
Well,
Very good.
that's-
You're on, but
That's good.
yeah, it's
I'm
good. The coffee
pleased with
worked.
that.
The coffee worked. Over 15? Good.
Good.
20? Oh my God. 30? Oh, keep your hands up. 35? 40? So it's about 30.
Somewhere between 35 and 40.
We've got, there's a 40 up the back.
Oh, no, in here too.
And here? Is
How
that
many? How many?
anyone else?
44?
44?
52! That's
Animals may be a
amazing.
special interest subject that we try and find a project for.
Did anyone get anything between 44 and 52?
And can I ask, what were your strategies? Because I work with people who have language impairment after a stroke, and that is the hardest thing they find, is trying to find the right words for things. And I saw a few of you going, you know, the one that you... What was the strategy?
I kind of did that grouping thing.
Categories.
So like farm animals, jungle, African, like. But then I like jumble over the place and forget what the animal was called and like try and say antelope, but say springing, hopping. This.
Okay, and you still managed to get 45.
Yeah.
And what about up the back there? What was the strategy you used?
I grew up on a farm, so I went through all the farm animals.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
We've got a fair few pets, so I went through pets.
Yeah.
My son is obsessed with the zoo, so I went through like the mental walkthrough of the zoo, which
Fabulous.
alphabetical, like aardvark.
Oh my goodness, you use so many strategies.
Yeah.
And that's what we as speech pathologists do to help our clients with that word finding difficulty that they have. We have those strategies that we teach people. So well done. Just by me saying those couple of things, you've latched onto it and really outperformed your peers, and we have
And
prizes.
the other thing about that's called automatic naming, with children who struggle to do that it can be related to literacy difficulties and language problems. So it's kind of that access of being able to access the word that they're looking for.
Vocabulary.
So,
Yep. Great. Do you want to give the
So,
prizes?
yeah. Prizes for our winners.
Okay, we have one
One
last
more.
activity, and this is really around coordination of motor speech, which is your articulation and your ability to articulate quickly, form a motor plan, stick to that motor plan. So this is all the stuff you're going to be learning about in neuroanatomy, in motor speech disorders, in articulation in children, etc. This one is to say the syllables p, t, k, p, t, k, p, t, k, as quickly as you can and as many times as you can in 10 seconds. So, do you all want to have a practice? Patika, 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 patika.
Yeah.
So, those of you who didn't use your calculator, maybe try it this time if you're counting.
And I can count. I'll do the 10-second timer for everybody
Oh, okay.
on the go, so that way you can use your phone to count. But everybody's got a feel for it, had a bit of a practice.
Patika, 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 patika.
Phone set up, ready to go.
Yep. If that's the way you want to give it a go.
Hands in the air when you get your phone ready.
Yep. Yep. And it's for 10. Yeah, or your finger. We can go old school. So it'll be for 10 seconds, and I'll tell you when to start, and then
Fast,
I'll tell you when to stop. Yep.
Hang on, I think the silk is already up.
Yep.
Patika, patika, patika.
Are we good? Are we ready? Alrighty, for the last two prizes. Okay, go. Stop. Okay.
How many lost count? How many felt your lips, tongue, mouth doing gymnastics? Because basically they're consonants that use our lips, that use the front of our tongue on our palate, and that use the back of our tongue on the back of our palate. You're going to be learning all about that stuff and how we make sounds, where we make sounds, how they're produced, and then how we coordinate that to make a motor plan so quickly that we can say patika, patika, patika. All right, how many?
Okay, so who got more than 5? Yeah. 7, 10, 15. I might get 20. Oh, 25. Oh, that sort of might be our tipping point. Have we just got 2? No. 22. 25. Yeah. Oh, 25. Go on. Okay, so 27. I think that might have. Ooh. Ooh. 30.
So there were 2 27.
Yeah, and there was a.
And here.
Oh. 33. I'm just going for random. No, because we had.
Did anyone have 28? Oh, we got up.
Yeah, we got to third. Yeah. 31.
I am 31.
Yeah. 38. All right.
What's the one under 38? Who's got something between 31 and 38?
32. Anyone else around there?
38 and 32 are our winners?
I think so. Yep. Well, I hope you've enjoyed having.
Can I just say though, it's interesting. Our 2 winners are also people who speak other languages. So I'm wondering,
Yeah.
because the speech sounds
Anyone want to do a PhD?
different languages are different. And so you might have different sorts of tongue movements and things.
Different skills.
Who knows?
Very nice.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
yeah, thank you all for joining in and having what we hope was a bit of fun with that. We heard lots of laughter and lots of chatting. So we really hope you enjoyed it. And remember this day when you're actually doing that in class and when you're actually doing it on placement and when you're doing it out in the wild with your real clients.
All right. So before our staff come down to meet you, we just thought we'd do one last activity. That was all sort of fun, lifting you up, getting to know each other, working together. There's going to be times though when this course becomes quite overwhelming and you're going to need to be able to bring yourself back down to the ground and centre yourself. So this final activity is kind of like a bit of mindfulness, so that when you do find yourself winding up into that whirring kind of state where everything's due at once, I don't know what to do first, I'm paralysed in action, but everything's going around and around in my head, it's really good to be able to ground yourself. The workbook that Jane gave you has some fabulous activities in that respect. So do keep that, you know, on your study desk at home or in your bag, in your backpack to really rely on. But for now, I'm just going to get you, I don't mind if you close your eyes or not, but just feel yourself settle back into your chair. I'm going to get you to really feel your feet on the ground. When you actually feel the pressure through your legs, through your thighs, through your knees, through your feet, the soles of your feet. Maybe if you just wriggle your toes as well. And can you feel your feet on the ground? Can you feel your back on the back of the chair? What's that pressure like? Is it gentle? Is it supportive? Is it firm? Press your back in further. Can you feel your buttocks on the seat of the chair? Feel yourself sinking in to that chair, hoping now you're starting to feel a little bit more relaxed. Check your shoulders. Can they just drop a little bit? Check your jaw. I always hold a lot of tension in my jaw. Let your jaw go slack. Don't have to open your mouth, but just let it not be that you're clenching your teeth. Just let your jaw go loose. Now we're going to ground ourselves in our environment. If you've got your eyes closed, I want you to listen and see if you can identify and name 3 different sounds around you. And the reason I'm asking you to name them is because that really focuses your attention on what you're trying to achieve here, which is to be present and mindful of the noises around you. I can hear the hum of the air conditioner. I can hear my voice. Is there something else you can hear? Can you hear your stomach rumbling? The beat of your heart? Usually this is when people start to cough. No one's coughing. A giggle, a creak. Okay, now I'm going to get you to open your eyes if you've got them closed and get you to be aware of colours that you can see and name them. See if you can find at least 5 colours, 7 colours. You're all very good at this, so probably more. What can you see? You're allowed to move your head, look around. Are you naming them as you see them? That's a really important thing to do because, as I said, it brings your focus. You can't do other things and worry about other things and have other things going through your mind when you're actually naming and using your inner language. So I'm sure you can all see lots and lots of colours. Now that's a really short, simple exercise, but do you feel a little more grounded in your space? And I encourage you to do that when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, and that will happen. I can absolutely guarantee you. We always feel overwhelmed by workload, by life, and we have tried to practice some of these techniques ourselves to really ground ourselves, and that when we're with you, we're really present with you and your learning and not thinking about all the other deadlines that are happening. And I hope you can do the same. Do that for each other. You know, when one of your peers comes to you and they're wound up, maybe help them, go back to this activity and just say, well, let's sit and just ground ourselves for 5 minutes, and then we'll problem solve our way through it. Okay? Don't get catastrophic about things by winding each other up. Try and bring each other back down to a rational place where you can actually problem solve. And you'll be doing yourself a great service and your peers a great service. And that's certainly something that we see. There's pressure points in this degree, both degrees, particularly around assignments where people can't be present to their learning because they're worried about the next thing. we would encourage you to be present to your learning, because it's actually going to help you do the next thing. Thank you for participating in that. I was really very impressed at how seriously you took it, and I hope it's a helpful exercise. It's 10 minutes until the rest of our staff are going to arrive. I see that Susie's come along. Jane, were there any more Connect slides or anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So this week, guys, at the university is Orientation Week, and there's all these activities. Next week is Connect Week, and there are more activities. So keep your eye on all those programs.
And then there's a Unify program as well that's giving, everything everywhere. Everything's got a name, where there's more things about connecting with students. Like, we're doing lots of stuff today, getting to know each other, but this helps you connect with other students in other programs, in other parts of the uni, so that you can, meet people that have similar interests but are studying different areas, just getting an opportunity to mingle and socialise and see what's going on around the campus and getting to enjoy the life of a university student here on campus, which we're so excited about after the last few years, that you guys get to do that. It adds a nice spice to life.
And some of you might feel like you want to just stay within the course, and that's fine too. Cool. You've got enough going on in your life. But if you actually want more, there's plenty more to take part in.
This is just a list of some of the things that are happening next week for Connect Week. So some things that you might want to have a look into. The other thing that's happening that's new this year is this Unify, which is just an opportunity to go and have a catch up with some other people who are, they're social sessions, so you can actually just...
Is it?
No, that's me.
Oh. You might be studying speech pathology.
Yes, this one. So it's a connection program so that you can actually meet some people, and because for some people you're going to come in and it's going to be easy for you to meet new people, but for some people it might be that a little bit harder, and so these look like really good sessions that the uni's offering to do some of that, and I think
we're done.
I think that's all.
Do make sure that you grab one of the Good Vibes Experiments books that we've got up there. Take one for a friend. They're very keen to get them out and about and share them with the students. They have lots of different activities. There's the mindfulness Joe talked about, but then they talk about, writing down good things that have happened or silly things that have happened every day in a week. There's even one, there's a spot event. If that's you just need to get it out and then you can get on with things. Different sorts of activities to sort of hit people where they need them, when they need them. Something you can tuck away, pull out when you feel like you've got a moment or when you just want to browse through, and then see what spikes your interest.
There's some good stuff in there.
There is. There's drawing, I think there's some colouring in.
Yeah. And the other thing is keep an eye out for Ping. So Ping is your newsletter that will come through from Flinders. So there's all these funny little acronyms, SAMs and flows and pings and
Sorry if your name's Sam, we'll just be talking about you all the time.
And I'm pretty sure no one's called Ping.
No.
Ping.
Not this year.
Pingu. Susie, are you here?
Hello, Susie.
Come on
Oh, you are hiding up the back.
So we're going to introduce you to some of the staff now. Susie's turned up first, so if you don't mind, we might actually introduce you first.
Yay, Susie!
Susie Greenwood is one of our lecturers in primarily the Bachelor of Speech Pathology program, teaching a very important foundational course and topic called Linguistics and Phonetics. So can I introduce you to Susie?
Sorry, I accidentally.
Hi everyone. It's great to see all these new faces and to actually be able to see your faces as well. I'm not the best at remembering people's names, so you'll have to bear with me, but hopefully I'll do a lot better this year because I'll be able to actually see your faces. As Joe said, I'll be doing the lecturing for your linguistics and phonetics on a Tuesday afternoon. So we've got our 2-hour lecture, and then all the fun stuff takes place on Wednesday, when we do a workshop where you get to actually try out all the stuff that we've learned on the Tuesday, and then we split off into small groups and do some independent study tasks, and I'll be joined there by Arne, who you'll see, he'll be down in a minute, and another great linguistics tutor we've got called Mario, and you just get to work through some stuff which will help you actually cement the knowledge.
And Susie, what is linguistics?
What is linguistics? Well, this is. Oh, I beg your pardon. Okay. Well, I won't spoil the master stuff then, because Arne will be down in a minute, and he does that side of thing in the masters. So we work together very closely on the content and on the assessments and things like that. But primarily, I do the undergrads. So there will be a little bit of a focus on Indigenous languages as well. So I'm hopeful that you all know whose land we're on today. Ghana land. Okay. So I've had the privilege to be involved a fair bit with the Ghana language revival program, and worked on the dictionary as well. So we'll be able to bring a little bit of that into the topic as well, which I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. And you'll also get the opportunity as well to explore a language of your choice as well, once we've equipped you with the tools to do that at the end of the semester in groups as well. So that should be good. And in fact, it's a really good day to be talking about this, because today is International Mother Language Day. Was anyone aware of that?
Yes,
Oh, you've already told them.
everybody is aware of that.
Oh, no.
So Susie, I'm going to ask this question again. What's linguistics?
No, you see, I don't want to spoil it, because
Oh.
that is lecture 1, week 1.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, so come along on Tuesday
Can I trick
afternoon.
you into answering what's phonetics?
Again.
Whoa, she's
Week
a cagey
2.
one.
So basically, we'll be talking about what is language and what is linguistics, what is the study of language. We'll be breaking that down into spoken language, the way we use language in society, how we learn and acquire language, its cultural and social value. We look a little bit at neurolinguistics and psycholinguistics, so you'll get a flavour of all the different sort of branches of linguistics. You'll also be joined for the undergrads, that is. You'll also be joined by students from other disciplines and other programs across the university, which is great because they bring a different perspective and different experience. So we have students from education, cognitive science, languages. So we'll have a few of those mixed in. So I hope you'll make them feel welcome, because you will be the majority of students, but you'll get to work with them in the small groups, especially in the group assignments as well.
Great.
So that's
Thank you, Susie.
linguistics
And last
phonetics.
question, are you a speech pathologist?
I'm not a speech
Okay,
pathologist.
okay.
No, I'm not. Speech pathology is one of the paths that, if you study linguistics like I did at uni, that's one of the paths that you can go into. And I know in the masters we have got a few students who've come through from a linguistics undergraduate program. Have we got any here today? Yay! You.
Oh.
I should probably put my glasses on so I can see who you are. I don't know. I need stronger glasses. Welcome. That is wonderful. We'll be really pleased to have some linguistic experts, although, of course, you are going to be starting from scratch, but it's always good to have some people with that bit of knowledge to help mentor each other, so that's fantastic. With the undergrad, we are assuming that you know nothing about linguistics, that you have no
all okay.
grammar skills. So don't panic